Alright guys, for today's video, I'm gonna share you how to apply for expression of interest in Saskatchewan, Canada. Okay, so if you're just new to this channel, I want you guys to subscribe, like, follow, and share this video to your friends and families out there. Okay. So at the moment we are here now at Saskatchewan.ca. This is actually the government website in Saskatchewan. So if you are an international skilled worker and your job or occupation is in demand, so you can apply for interest or expression of interest to get in Saskatchewan, even though you don't have a job offer from a Saskatchewan company. Alright, so let's have first this overview. Okay, so as of July 15, 2021, the SINP will revise the required settlement fund amounts to align with recent Immigration, Refugees and Citizenship Canada or IRCC increases. So it is very expected that every now and then there are lots of changes. So for temporary SINP measures and frequently asked questions related to the COVID-19 outbreak and how it may impact temporary residents, so nominees and permanent residency applicants, so we can just click here right away, immigration FAQs or frequently asked questions. So later on we will check these questions. Now, how can you be qualified to these in-demand occupation jobs in Saskatchewan? So this subcategory is for skilled workers. Okay, take note, skilled workers who don't have a job offer in Saskatchewan. Okay, don't have a job offer in Saskatchewan but are highly skilled in an in-demand occupations. It means to say you need not to have a job offer in Saskatchewan, Canada. So you can be qualified if your occupation is highly in demand. So you are a skilled worker, experienced both in local or abroad with your job occupation. Though you don't have a job offer in Saskatchewan, so you can be qualified to apply or for this expression of interest. Also, you need to meet the criteria. Okay, so criteria can change at any time, but we will use what was on this website when we first got your application. So whatever the status on your first applications at first, then there will be changes after all, so it will stick to the time that you applied this interest or expression of interest to that specific job in Saskatchewan. Okay, so there is no need to worry if there are changes, because your application will be focused or sticked on the time that you applied or you sent your expression of interest. So it means to say those changes cannot be applied to your application. Now let's come to the qualifications. So eligibility. So in order to be eligible, you must pay a non-refundable $350 application fee online. It could be by Visa or MasterCard. So you must have a Visa or MasterCard because you will be paying your final application online by paying this $350. So it is the last step in your in order you to submit your application. So upon submitting your final application to your expression of interest to that specific in-demand job, so you need to pay this non-refundable $350. So how can you be qualified? So you'll be qualified if, so here we go, the requirements. If you live outside of Canada or have proof of legal status in Canada. So if you are just there in your home country right now, or if you are in Canada but you don't have this permanent residency status, but you only have this work permit status, so you can just apply this opportunity. Then if you are not a refugee claimant, so you are qualified, then you need to score a minimum of 60 points out of 110 on the SINP point assessment grid. So later on we will be checking right away this point assessment grid on how can you be qualified. So at least you need to have the 60 points so you can be accepted while sending your application. Okay, so out of 110 you need to have 60 points. Also you need to have a language score of at least 4. Oh, very low. IELTS score at least 4 Canadian language benchmarks or CLB4. However, some employers sometimes would ask you a higher score than this CLB4. So better if you can have more than this 4. Okay, then you need to be completed post-secondary education, training or apprenticeship. Okay, you need to have post-secondary training or apprenticeship that's comparable to that in Canada. Then have earned either diploma, certificate or degree. So for education outside of Canada, guys, you must submit an educational credential assessment or ACA from a designated organization. So we can check it out later on, this IRCC's list of approved organizations. So as far as I've known, WES. I already have this WES. WES is one of the listed approved organizations that you can send your degree certificates in order to know the equivalent of your degree from your home country to Canada. Also, individuals who have completed trades or job training as part of their high school education must instead apply for Saskatchewan licensure. So you need to have a license in Saskatchewan. Then we can just click here, these regulated occupations and licensing requirements. Later on, if you want to check, then you can just click this. Also have work experience that is high skilled and not on the excluded occupation list. Then you must have a minimum of 1 year full-time, minimum 30 hours per week, paid work experience in a skilled occupation over the past 10 years related to your field of education. So your experience must be in a high school occupation. It could be in NOCO, A or B. So that is considered to be in demand in Saskatchewan at the time of your application. So better, guys, if you have this NOC, so it means to say that your job or your work experience would belong to NOCO, A or B. So you can just click these occupations in demand and express entry occupations requirement if you want to know more information about these listed jobs belong to O, A or B NOC. Then your work experience must be related to your occupation and education. So of course, if you are a teacher, so your work experience should be a teacher. If you are a doctor, your experience should be a doctor. If you are a plumber, so you must have a training and a certificate as a plumber, then you work as a plumber. So this is what this requirement is all about. Experience must be related to your occupation and education. Then you may need to provide proof of professional status or eligibility for licensure. So of course you must have the proof of license. If you are a doctor, a teacher from the Philippines for example, so you must have this license. Then you must include all required documents in your application. So missing documents will result in your incomplete application being returned. So your application fee will not be refunded. So yes. So upon paying or upon sending your final application, so you need to check or rest assured that all the documents needed are correct. So there will be a better chance for acceptance, because remember, there will be no refund for your payments. Then have proof of settlement funds and settlement plans. So this is the last requirement. So proof of settlement. So for example, if you have accepted, then of course upon going to Canada, you must have this proof of settlement funds. So a money, you must be ready for this, because without this proof of settlement funds, so obviously this is all about a bank statement that can be easily accessed even though you are there in Canada. So to apply for this subcategory, you must submit an expression of interest. So you can just click this one, expression of interest or EOI, to fill in the data needed later on. Don't worry guys, I'll be posting the link in the description box below, so do not forget to check it out, this link, so you can apply your expression of interest to Saskatchewan, Canada. Alright, so let's come to, here we go. So what is really an international skilled worker expression of interest or EOI? So for those who don't know about this EOI, so an international skilled worker is not an application to the EINP. Okay? So an international skilled worker EOI is a pre-application process which allows candidates to fill out a form to indicate their interest in applying to the EINP. So this is just a pre-application process. Okay, pre-application process. It means to say everybody can have this pre-application process. You can be qualified as long as you can produce the documents or the requirements needed for the final application. So as what I've told you a while ago, you need to pay the $350 upon sending your final application. So in order not to waste your money, because there is no refund after all, so all of the documents should be fully cleared, fully verified, and all of these documents should be correct. Okay, so if you want to know more about this EOI, so you can just click this one, International Skilled Worker EOI System in Saskatchewan. So of course, not all candidates who submit an international skilled worker will be invited to apply to the EINP. So there are no limits on the number of candidates who can submit an EOI. So candidates can only have one EOI profile. So you can have a double EOI profile. So I would like to share to you guys my experience when I was still in the UAE back 2018. I got an application. Then I applied this Saskatchewan as a teacher. Then a month after, I got also an invitation to apply for a final application. However, I didn't able to pursue it because I just received my visa from a new company in the UAE, and I need to go back to the Philippines just to comply all those requirements. So all I did is just to reject their application to apply for this kind of Saskatchewan in-demand job application. So of course, at least you must have an IELTS result, because you need to upload all these requirements just here online. Then the ECA or the credentials from the WIS you need also to apply. Then the bank statement as a proof of funds that you can settle there in Canada. So that's it. Then you need to pay the $350. So I didn't able to pay the $350 because I know that I couldn't really make it, because I couldn't go home. I couldn't resign my job because I just received my visa in the company that I had at that time. So it is just very easy to apply online, guys, as long as you can have this at least 60 out of 110. At that time I got 70 plus. That's why I got that application, an invitation from the Saskatchewan government to apply online. So it's just very easy. Now let's come to this. Who cannot apply through the international skilled worker category or occupation in demand? So here's the next question here. So again, refugee claimants in Canada claiming refugee status from the government of Canada cannot apply. So you may be eligible if any of the following situation is true. So it means to say you failed to submit documentation as requested by EOI and P. Then you fail to show that your intent to live and work in Saskatchewan is genuine. You and your representative have not been truthful in the application. So these are the disqualifications. So the disqualifications, if you will do all these three things here, so of course you cannot be ineligible to apply the EOI in Saskatchewan. Now let's come to the assessment rating. So here we go. You must score a minimum of 60 points out of 110 points on the point assessment grade to be considered for the nomination. So as what I've told you before, I got a nomination from the Saskatchewan government just to finalize my application, but I didn't make it because of such circumstance I had at that time. Okay, now let's try to check it out, this point assessment grid. Okay, so again, everybody can be awarded points on the basis of 5 factors. The 5 factors are education and training, skilled work experience, language ability, your age, and connection to the Saskatchewan or job markets, and family. Okay, points system grid. Let's check it out. Okay, assess your eligibility. For example, here we go. Let's assess your eligibility on this application. Here, factor 1, we have here the labor market success. So education and training, guys. So if you've got that master's or doctorate degree, that is Canadian equivalency, so you can have this 23 points. So in my own, at that time, in my own experience, guys, since I got this master's Canadian equivalency, so I got this 23 points that time. Then you can have this bachelor's degree or at least a 3-year degree at a university or college. That is of course equivalent to Canada, so it should be 20 points. Then trade certification equivalent to journey person status in Saskatchewan, that is 20 points. Then Canadian equivalency diploma that requires 2 but less than 3 years at a university, college, trade or technical school or other post-secondary institution, you can have this 15 points. Then Canadian equivalency certificate or at least 2 semesters but less than a 2-year program at the university, college, trade or technical school or other post-secondary institution. So it should be recognized. Everything here should be recognized. That's why you need to submit all your degree certificate to the WIS so that you can have this Canadian equivalency. So of course you can have these 12 points. Then for skilled work experience, we have here, so your work experience must be related to the job you have put on your application. 1 year of work experience equals to 12 full months. For example, your work experience as a doctor in the Philippines, as a plumber, as a welder, as a nurse, as a caregiver. So 5 years, you can have these 10 points. 4 years, 8 points. 3 years, 6 points. 2 years, 4. 1 year, 2 points. So in the 6 to 10 years prior to the application submission date, so 5 years, you can have 5. 4 years, 4. 3 years, 2. 2. Then less than 1 year is 0. So language ability. So here we go. So as I've told you, the higher, the better. So this is ANP, it requires only at least 4 CLB. So better if you can have more than 4, because if you've got only 4, so you only have 12 points. If you have CLB 5, you can have 14. If you have CLB 6, you have 16. CLB 7, 18, and CLB 8 and higher, 20. So the higher score, the better, right? So same with the French test. So it's the same score that you can have. So 4 years, your age. So if your age belongs to more than 50 years, you don't have points anymore. 46 to 50, you have 8. 35 to 45, you have 10. 22 to 34, you have 12. 18 to 21, 8. Less than 18, 0. So the maximum points for factor 1 is 80. Now let's come to factor 2, which is the connection to Saskatchewan labor markets and adaptability. So points here are given for having a connection to the Saskatchewan labor market. So of course here, high skilled employment offer from a Saskatchewan employer. So at the moment that you are applying this expression of interest to Saskatchewan, Canada, so if you have that offer, so you can have these 30 points. So it means to say you've got really a chance, a huge chance to be accepted in your application because of these 30 points. Okay, so the following points also are for the occupation in demand and Saskatchewan expression subcategories only here. So close family relative in Saskatchewan. So here we go, you can have 20 points if you have a parent, you have a sibling, grandparent, aunt, uncle, niece, nephew, cousin, and step family members or in-laws of the same relationships. So of course the family members in Saskatchewan must meet the requirements as listed under required documents for your ISW subcategory. So you can have these 20 points. Then past work experience in Saskatchewan. So if you've got experience as a job worker or OFW worker in Saskatchewan prior to your application, so you can have these 5 points. Then past students experience. So if you've got or if you've studied in Saskatchewan at least 1 full-time academic year at a recognized Saskatchewan post-secondary education institution on a valid study permit, so you can have these 5 points. So all in all, we have here the maximum points total, factor 1 plus factor 2, that would total to 110 points. So for the maximum points for factor 2, of course, it's 30. So 80 plus 30, that is 110 points. And the passing score is 60 points. So you can be eligible to apply for your expression of interest to work and to live in Saskatchewan, Canada. Alright. So let's go back to the first page, guys. So how to apply? It's very easy. You just click this link. Okay, apply online to EOI. First, you need to create an account, then complete the different sections. So each section has information that you need to fill in there. Then after that, as I've told you a while ago, you need to scan and upload your completed forms and supporting documents in PDF formats. So keep the originals for your records. Save and submit your application. So you will just click this, apply online to the EOI, expression of interest. So you need to create your account here first before you can fill in the needed information in this application. So here we go, you need to create your user ID and your password. But first you need to create, if you have already, of course, if you have already your username or user ID and your password, you can just click this, fill in your password and click login. But since you don't have yet, you have to click create an account. So here we go. Select a registration type. You have to select what is your application type. Is it entrepreneur applicants or is INP, employers or recruiters and consultants? So who are you? So you have to click this is INP. Okay. So that's it guys. I couldn't continue because I have this already an account and I should not double. There is no double account in this application. So yeah, I hope that everybody can get a lot of ideas from this video. So if you are very interested to send your expression of interest to work and live in Saskatchewan, Canada, so don't forget to check it out, the link that I will be posting in the description box below the video later on. So guys, thank you so much. That's all for today. Keep safe everyone and bye bye. Hello guys, if you are just new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe.